Welcome ladies and gentlemen to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, and today we are on the PUP, the public update preview, looking at what is in store for us for Season 4 in Age of Empires 4. And today in the north corner of the map, we've got Anotand playing in blue as the Holy Roman Empire. And it's going to be going up against none other than 3DB, playing in orange as the Rus. Welcome ladies and gentlemen to Dry Arabia. These two civilizations have had a lot of changes, and speaking of changes, well, the Holy Roman Empire have had a few changes, a couple of buffs, a couple of improvements, a couple of reworks, a couple of refreshes to their Minework Palace landmark, which now holds two technologies unique to this landmark. They've got riveted chainmail, where spearmen and horsemen gain +2 melee armor at a cost of 75 food and 175 gold, and they also have access to steel barding, where the knights gain +2 armor at a cost of 200 food and 500 gold. Of course, that would be in the Castle Age. The Rus have some changes of their own, certainly some interesting changes, and that will be with the Kremlin. One of the landmarks that we very rarely saw in previous ranked seasons, but I've got a sneaky feeling we might be seeing it a little bit more in Season 4, and the reason why is because the Kremlin can now levy militia to the landmark town center, and the militia, they've got a fun name attributed to them. I think we might try and make it stick, and the Rus might have a new strategy, the Kremlin Gremlin rush. I'm not sure how often it'll be used, but we've seen Crackety here play it a few times. I'd be super interested to see if the Kremlin Gremlin rush catches on as a viable strategy. In any case, the Gremlins in this case are the militia. They can be drafted in for 100 food, and they can be activated every 3 minutes. Now the militia, they are fast and lightly armored units, which have a 90-second lifespan. Now they are technically supposed to be defensive units, but I mean, you know, I suspect we'll be seeing these gremlins out and about on the field and being aggressive, especially with their movement speed. And speaking of movement speed, the Holy Roman Empire are on the move. They're on the move to the Feudal Age with the Minework Palace. And we see immediately Anotand taking advantage of the buffs, the benefits, the changes, the refreshes that has happened to the Minework Palace. And this could be an interesting phase of Age of Empires 4 for the Holy Roman Empire, traditionally known as a fast castle civilization, where the power spikes really does happen in the Castle Age for them. But with the Minework Palace, that might change things a little bit, especially with the upgrade that they get, the riveted chain upgrades with the +2 armor on the horsemen and spearmen. And I just do wonder, you know, the Holy Roman Empire, there have been a strong feudal age civilization, just often overlooked, I believe, because of the fact that they have such strong eco bonuses with the prelate, with a +40% gathering speed. And speaking of gathering speed, that scout's got to gather speed. He doesn't quite get away. He gets the kill of a scout, but dies himself, and 3DB makes a runaway with it with the sheep. But yeah, I mean, the feudal age can be pretty strong, I feel, for the Holy Roman Empire now, especially with the Minework Palace upgrades coming in cheaply. I'm not entirely sure if they're strong enough yet to do feudal age all-ins, but I suspect they'll be pretty good at it against civilizations like the Rus, possibly the French. You know, the civilizations that like to hang out in the feudal age quite often, and the Holy Roman Empire can certainly pack a punch and hold their own against those civilizations with the eco bonuses that they get with the prelate. And it feels like with the Archon Chapel being quite strong, you know, the Archon Chapel is not something that can't be substituted for. You know, you can always train more prelates at a cost of gold, of course. But the Minework Palace has something special now, with the added extra armor for the horsemen and spearmen in the feudal age, and also potentially in the Castle Age for the knights. Bit of an expensive technology, but nevertheless, it's something that can scale quite well in the game. And I do wonder, even with this +2 armor, it could even start to rival the strength of the French Royal Knight potentially. Obviously depending on what the army is facing up against. But we see Wheelbarrow coming in soon for Anotand. Let's take a look what the Rus are up to. There is that Kremlin being built, and I wonder we see the Gremlins. Yeah, there we are. There's the Kremlin Gremlins. They're rushing forward. They're pretty fast. Got a movement speed of 1.5 tiles per second. I think the Scout has got sort of 1.6 something. Yeah, 1.62, so not too far behind a Scout. Bearing in mind a Scout is on horseback. And the issue is that these are nice throwaway units for the Rus now. They can just harass opponents. Look at going straight for the gold. Anotand is aware though. He pulls away the villagers and can look to build a archery range behind this. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, with 100 food being the cost for this, he won't mind diving in, and as long as he creates some idle time, Maybe, looks like that was deleted in time, I think, for Anotand, but isn't able to get a villager kill at the moment, but it's causing a lot of idle time for 100 food. This is kind of worth it. Yeah, it's not going to get a villager kill out of this, but caused a lot of idle time, and overall, you know, it's not too bad actually for the militia being used in this way, and that could just be quite annoying for our opponents to deal with, to be totally honest. And a stable can be put down for the Holy Roman Empire, switching it up from the archery range to the stable. And I wouldn't be surprised to see riveted chainmail now, because that would increase the melee armor of the spearmen and horsemen. Obviously, we're talking about horsemen here with the stable. That could be a nice upgrade. Relatively cheap as well, 45 food, 105 gold. It's not the most expensive technology out there. Especially when you've got prelates boosting up 40% gather speeds. As villagers come out now for the Rus, maybe looking to get hold of the boar, which is commonly a play that 3DB often does. Of course, taking advantage of the fastest, the fastest gathering rate of food on Dry Arabia today would be the boar. Looks like 3DB is interested in that. That might be going for deer instead, actually. Putting a hunting camper there might gather some gold from the wood. Could be a nice spot. I mean, he would be able to get... Oh, he's going to drag all the way east, and that's an interesting play, a nice play, actually. Okay, well, he's actually going to gather the boar close to the deer. Oh, the boar's just been de-aggroed, I'm afraid. And goes all the way back. Scout's going to have to go on that mission again. Building a wooden fortress to protect those villagers, not a bad idea at all, as a horseman does pop out. Looking to take out that scout for 3DB. That scout will die, I suspect, now, because the horseman, of course, has a higher or faster movement speed. 1.88 tiles per second. And the boar is now being dragged in. The scout might die. Oh, he does lose a scout there, 3DB. Not ideal. It does now bring the boar in, and with the hunting cabin in a nice spot, and actually deletes the wooden fortress and relocates it somewhere else. Or at least stops building it. And that's actually quite a smart play. I mean, a lot of players would have just continued to build that wooden fortress and just be stuck with it. But 3DB has the presence of mind to realise the boar might not end up exactly where he wants it to be. And it's a barracks here in the Feudal Age. And whoa, okay, and an archery age. I think this is a Feudal Age all-in for Anotand, and I'm super excited to see this. Because I just want to see how well this works. And this could work pretty nicely, considering the fact that, well, the Rus often have an extended Feudal Age, rather. And the Spearmen and the Horsemen could be buffed by the Riveted Chainmail. We'll keep an eye on to see whether actually Anotand uses that technology. Doesn't actually have any of the blacksmith upgrades. Hasn't actually used the Mine Palace in any shape or form just yet. In any case, will we see some more gremlins on the field soon? Does actually have the ability to use it. Has got 100 food in the bank, of course, and the cooldown is now over. Does lose a scout there. That was that scout from earlier on for 3DB, as he now expands into a second town centre in the south. And this could be an interesting match because, well, the second town centre is obviously an indicator of greed, an indicator of booming, and that is not what Anotand is doing. He's going aggression in the Feudal Age, and so this is going to be aggression versus booming. And don't forget, Anotand has the Holy Roman Empire. The eco is not too bad, that's for sure, not especially with the prelate involved. Wooden fortress going up on the goal, looking to protect this position, getting specialized pick as well. We see 3DB often going for the eco upgrades quite nice and early. Already has wheelbarrow, doesn't quite have double broadaxe just yet, and doesn't actually have a wooden fortress boosting these villages, although it actually seems to be happening somewhere. Oh, the Kremlin, of course. Don't forget the Kremlin actually acts as a wooden fortress and bolsters the wood dropped off at the lumber camp. Getting a few villagers on stone, maybe looking to get some arrow slits and placements on those wooden fortress. And the boar meat coming in now nicely for 3DB. I wonder what 3DB is thinking about a castle age. He's got a load of food, basically. I wouldn't say necessarily way too much because he is investing in knights. He's got a lot. It's the Kremlin Gremlins are now out and about again, looking to get a villager. Should actually manage to do so. Does snipe a villager, pushing the villagers away and causing a lot of idle time. Those villagers were on a deer pack, and it just feels against the Rus now. You're a little bit less likely to be able to take just pocket economies that easily. And it's going to drag the Kremlin Gremlins a little bit more further northeast. Maybe to harass this wood line. The spears are chasing. It does make sense for 3DB just to fight here because these units will disappear in about 12 seconds. And it's going to head towards the south now. Yeah, it's going to head towards the wood line. Will be impressive if he can get another villager. I don't think he'll manage it. Only 4 seconds these militia will live for. And they will collapse to the ground very soon, I suspect. There they are. They die a miserable death of being timed out. And units heading towards the south now. Anotand has 25 military units versus the 3 from Rus, played by 3DB. 3DB just doesn't have the units he needs to defend. He's got plenty of food, needs more villagers on gold really here, it seems. The macros are a little bit off here today for 3DB, which is not something you... Well, it's just not something that 3DB is something... It's just not something he does. He's very usually on point on these things. He's struggling to get that gold income he needs, and he's now getting an archery range. Maybe looking to get some knights and archer masses going, but he needs something fast because the military is starting to really build up for the Holy Roman Empire. It has invested in a second blacksmith barracks, well, a third barracks as well, more spearmen on the way. He has got riveted chainmail, ladies and gentlemen. These horsemen have +2 extra on their armor in terms of melee as well, so that's going to do well, quite well against the knights. Actually, going to tank a little bit more than they usually would. And I suspect now, actually, well, the Holy Roman Empire actually technically have the best feudal age horsemen in the game, and possibly even the best spearmen. The Abbasid dynasty might have something to say about that with the phalanx, and I suppose you have the Donso for the Malians, but you know, the Holy Roman Empire are going to be having quite strong melee units in the feudal age, and all their cost is food and wood. And it's going to get rams now. He is looking for a large feudal age push, and it's going to come in the form of rams. Don't forget as well, compared to recent patches, the rams now are cheaper at a 250 wood, and research time is a little bit quicker. Well, in fact, to be honest with you, that would be super fast. The Minework Palace, because don't forget the Minework Palace actually reduces the speed, the time it takes for technologies to come in by 40%, and siege engineering was already sped up in a recent patch, so that siege engineering tech, as well being cheaper with the Minework Palace, comes in super fast. And I really think a feudal age all-in is a really strong position for HRE right now in this patch, and we can see it being demonstrated here. Spearmen heading in the front lines, looking to pick up those knights, and the horsemen tanking a bit of the damage as well. The archers are behind, looking to take out any other units that are there, villagers included, and 50 villagers there for the Rus. Quite an extensive lead, but a lot of them are idle right now, 8 of them, and 8 of them about to die in that wooden fortress, and the eco just hasn't been able to be translated into military. It looks like actually Castle Age coming in for 3DB, probably at the worst possible time. This is a perfect timing push by the Holy Roman Empire, that is for sure. Now it's going to focus on the production buildings to cut off those productions, and well, you know, it's not a bad Castle Age time, but it's just a little bit too little too late, and doesn't have the gold income to actually produce some armoured units, which it will need to do. Also have a couple of knights popping out from the stables, but only 15 military versus 45. The numbers are constantly adding in for Anotand. He's spending everything he's got. Here comes a charge in. The Kremlin Gremlins coming in to join the fight. The militia adding in. The archers for Anotand. So many of them. And it's going to pick off the Rus archers pretty quickly and easily, as the rams focus on the archery range, cutting off further production. Horsemen there will be looking to take down the militia. Now the horsemen can start torching down the production buildings as well. The spearmen getting involved as well. That's the perfect thing about having melee units. They've got the torch damage ability as well. And Anotand, not even stopping there, has got archer units too. And this is a problem for Rus. Hasn't been able to take advantage of that castle edge. Is getting the veterancy upgrade for his knights, but I'm not entirely sure how many more knights he has. He's only got 3 knights on the field anyway. They're looking to go forward, looking to cause damage, and one of them is only on 2 HP. That seems like a very costly upgrade to get for such few units. He needs to do counter damage, but he is being taken apart back at home. All these production buildings, the lack of wood is going to start to hurt 3DB. He's having to spend all this wood back on production buildings. They can't even afford units at this stage because of the production buildings having to be reinvested in. 3 more stables on the back line, and those villagers aren't helping him at this stage because the economy is in tatters at the moment. 3 knights picking off the reinforcements. This is nice play by 3DB. This is certainly something you want to do if you're under the pressure to try and cut off reinforcements. But it's not so much the reinforcements that are bothering 3DB right now. It's the army that's already in the base. He's looking to torch down that town centre, and why not? With this number of melee units with rams, I think he's going to manage it. And this is a nice play by Anotand. He's keeping the archers on line, on the front lines. Looking to pick off these units. Going to pick off the archers that B has. No amount of micro is going to help him here. The archers for Anotand. Then going to start focus firing on the villagers. That villager lead is going to start to diminish very quickly. The first capital town centre has been taken down. The rams now focusing on the Kremlin, as well as the melee units, and the archers picking off those villagers. Now have to contend with a couple of the knights, and the knights will tank a lot. The archers just kind of tickle them really. The villagers on the retreat, I think the archers probably just focus on the villagers. In fact, they're just going to be kept alive for now. Spearmen do focus on the knights now. They head away from the Kremlin. Going to keep the battering rams there on hand to take out the Kremlin. There are villagers garrisoned inside, and they can't afford to come out because they will be attacked basically. They will be dying very quickly. as the army now gathers again for Anotand. VDB just doesn't have enough to keep pressurizing this. He has to hold back. He wants to hold back for as long as he can, but up to 15 minutes, 30 seconds of the game gone. And more Rams going to be looking to be coming out, but Anotand switches it up a little bit, moves the spear back into position to try and counteract those knights. And the Rams have been deleted. This one is still being, well, hasn't been deleted for Anotand. I'm not sure if he just missed that. I'm not sure if it matters, because once the Kremlin is down, it looks like he's going to go straight for the jugular vein with the high trade house. And look at this, Anotand actually doesn't have any food income whatsoever. Uh-oh. We see villagers coming forward. He smells blood. Knights are picking off them one by one, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Holy smokes, the whole economy is here for Anotand. The villager rush is in play, and they are heading in and causing all sorts of problems here for 3TB, and this could be the end of the game. I think the town centre, the landmarks have all been taken out, and Anotand with the Holy Roman Empire, full feudal age, counters, I think, the Rus. What a great strategy for Holy Roman Empire that's developing.